Welcome back to Birds on Power Lines, and for this episode, what we are doing is we are reviewing or going back on our thoughts from Season 2 of The Rings of Power, so the Amazon series, The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, Season 2. And for this first episode, we're going to talk about our thoughts on the first 4 episodes.
Yeah, so this is the first of 2 podcasts.
First of 2 podcasts, and then there'll be
shorter podcasts. But
well, we'll see. We don't know how much we're going to talk about yet, but and then there'll be a second podcast on that. And again, if you're listening to us on audio, this is again another video podcast. I think we're going to continue with this, so. We'll just tell you that you can find the video version of this on our YouTube location, which is Birds on Power Lines podcast. And if you want to see us, you can see us there. But anyways, to get going with what we're looking at. So we didn't, I think at this point, since this is season 2, we were just discussing, he was going to say this. So, we're really not going to talk about the music or the aesthetic per se. We might add in a few comments, here and there, but it really is consistent with the first season. Yeah. And I think that the consensus is, even looking at the internet, that it's beautiful.
Both are very good.
Yeah, both are beautiful. The music is amazing, and of course, it's Bear McCreary came back to the music, and it's amazing, and the aesthetic is outstanding.
Yeah, it was expensive and it looked expensive.
It's amazing. So that enough said, I think, really about that. So that's consistent. So I think what we really wanted to do is sort of share, not really review it, because I think there's lots of people reviewing it, but we'll just do what we normally do and just talk about the stuff that excited us. And if there was anything that, I think by now, we're pretty consistent in that we really just want
to talk about
it. Want to talk about it. We're not here to to nitpick and stuff like that. And I think especially when it comes to the Lord of the Rings, I'm really a crazy Lord of the Rings person. But that said, it's been years since I've read the Silmarillion and all of the other background stuff. So which I think is good in this case. Yeah. So that I can just enjoy it. And I totally am one of those people, and I don't know about you, but totally one of those people that just loves the fact that we've got something from the Lord of the Rings universe here. And if it encourages people who haven't read the books to read them, I think that's I'm good with that. I really don't want to try and, because obviously they're condensing thousands of years of history into, or, Lord of the Rings history into a short period of time, and I'm good with that. So, anyways, so we just want to just share what our thoughts were. And when we started, we were like, we couldn't really remember as well, right?
Yeah, so it's been about 2
years
since the first
season.
So
I went back and I looked to see exactly how long ago it was, because I think post-COVID, everything just seems weird. But it was September of 2022 when the first season started airing. So that's 2 years, and so that was that. But when I went back and looked at that, I saw that this was like a multi-season commitment that they were making to the series. So I would assume we're going to get at least one more season from this. And curiously, and going back to the idea of the Silmarillion and all those other books, they didn't get rights to that. So they really can't do that. So the way they did that is they took stuff that were in the Peter Jackson movies and sort of extrapolated backwards. And, because they didn't get rights from the Tolkien family to put those, to put that work into these. So I think that really goes a long way to explain why they didn't do that. So so, and again, I'm good with that. But I learned about that while I went back and I looked, and I didn't tell you about that. But anyways, so why don't we get going with this?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So why don't you start, because I've just been talking.
Yeah. So the first
episode is Elven Kings Under the Sky.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you had written that down.
I wrote it down. Okay. So it was definitely a way to start off the season with a very big, giant, gross slime thingy. that was a way to start off the season. That immediately kind of just really freaked me out, and I did not like that at all. Yeah, so that was a way to start off the season.
Sauron.
Yeah, that was the way to start off the season. So.
Okay, I'll talk more about that, but yeah, okay, go
yeah,
ahead.
But those were my initial thoughts, and then I thought, like, it was a little bit weird. Like, I was thinking, like, consistently throughout, like, the episodes that we've seen that, like, it is an interesting choice to make Galadriel so, like, very stubbornly dependent on the rings, like, almost to a fault, because, like, she was the one who, like, though she feels it was her fault that, like, now Sauron is back and all this stuff. She feels it was her fault, so she's, like, I feel like, I mean, if it were me, I would be, like, very distrusting of, like, anything has to do with him, but she's, like, for some reason trusts in the rings, which is a little bit interesting, and, like, I mean, like, they obviously, they have that power to, like, do that, like, we're seeing that, but it's just really interesting that, like, she, even though she knows this, like, she knows that, like, stuff with Sauron is, like, really bad, because, like, she's, like, been, like, hunting this guy for years.
Yeah,
and,
thousands
of years, yeah. but then she does, like, kind of have very almost blind faith in the ring, kind of, to a fault. And it's just interesting that I thought that's the thing. But yeah, especially the first episode, like, especially, because she literally got tricked, like, by Sauron / Halbrand into, like, helping him with all this stuff. Yeah. But then she goes and, like, tells, like, Gil-galad, like, yeah, sure, these are fine. These are gonna save us. But, like, yeah, anyway. So I thought that was an interesting choice. And I just really feel bad for Elrond this episode, because, like, he trusted, Círdan?
Yes, Círdan. I didn't look up. We don't speak Elvish.
No, he trusted his, like, really old teacher guy.
I don't know if it's Círdan or Círdan.
I think it's Círdan.
It might be Círdan. I think it's Círdan.
Yeah, but Elrond trusted him with the rings. Like, he gave him the rings to, like, take to the big, like, chasm and drop them in. But no, instead he, like, took one of the rings for himself and then gave the other two like,
just presume that he should have one, right?
Yeah. And I just feel really bad for Elrond, because, like, this entire time he's like, I feel like he's like, he would feel like everyone else is, like, going completely crazy over these rings, and he's like, what, do you guys not see what's going on? And in a way, it's almost frustrating for, like, at least me watching this, but I don't know, probably other people in the audience to be like, this is clearly bad, listen to this guy. But yeah, so that
curiously he ends up inheriting one, but
which is weird again. And also, why doesn't Celebrimbor throw Halbrand out? Because, like, Galadriel literally said, do not, like, talk to this guy, don't like, treat with him, don't interact with him at all. And he was like, it was, like, a really big mistake for him to go down and, like, talk to him.
Yeah, hindsight.
But and anyway, like, and, like, everyone, like, Galadriel said, don't talk to this guy, and I'm pretty sure one of the smiths, I think, that was, like, with him said, like, oh, Lady Galadriel said don't talk to him, right? Mm-hmm. But he still went down to talk to him.
The power of Sauron.
Yeah, so those are some things that I was thinking about. And also, I really love Linden. Linden is where the smiths are, right?
No, I wrote it down. I'll get to it.
Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. It looks very nice. I quite like it. Are you sure?
Yes, okay. I literally wrote it down. I'll get to it. I don't know. Linden, I think, is where Círdan was. Isn't that Linden?
No, I thought that was where Celebrimbor was.
No,
okay. I don't remember. I don't know.
No, because that's about to be destroyed.
Anyway,
sorry.
I like.
That's what we forgot to say at the beginning. There are spoilers here.
We said that.
We did. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I like that's I like the look of that, and I still like the look of Numenor. Just, like, thinking about that, I really like. I like
because it was supposed to be the pinnacle of human civilization or man's civilization. Man could become.
They just look really nice. Like, the whole, like, I don't know, it's probably 90% CGI, but it just looks really nice. Yeah. It looks really nice.
I'm probably almost 100%
CGI. Anyway.
Okay, so that's what your thoughts were on the first one. And let me just see, I wrote down, it's since we wanted to talk about where I should bring that up right away, but I know it when I see it. I know it when I see it.
We'll find it eventually.
It's there because as usual, I took lots of notes, and I don't know, but it's not Lyndon, not Lyndon.
Are you sure?
Okay, yeah. Oh, absolutely, okay. Absolutely. I was doing a lot of reading this morning about it. Okay, so Elven Kings Under the Sky. What were my thoughts? It took me a moment to follow what was happening.
Oh no, I got that.
I didn't know that we were going back in history to find out what happened before, like.
Well, I didn't realize that the guy who got stabbed was Sauron. I did not realize.
I knew it was Sauron, but I was a little confused. So that it took me a moment to understand that opening. That was like not a flashback, but it's letting us know backstory as to how Sauron came to the point that he is. Yeah. Because of course he looked a little different because that's how I was like. I mean, it was just like that's him, but it's not him. But
I didn't realize it was him because I just
and then I was actually surprised by the way they took the approach of the orcs hating him. And that Adar was actually killed him. Like if you can kill Sauron, and I was thinking, shouldn't this be Morgoth? But no, sorry. So there was a little non sequitur there for a few minutes, and then I was like, oh, okay. And actually, I really liked how I handled that transformation of Sauron. Like, of course, that took thousands of years. Of course, right? That was like a major time lapse. Yeah. But I mean, but I guess you're kind of left with, well, in what form does he come out and try and get human form again? And I think that was an interesting choice, making him like a black pool of evil, and swallowing things, and then eventually getting enough form to get out. Right. So the making of Halbrand was so that tells you Sauron is really patient. Yeah. Right. Patience. And of course that happens in the Lord of the Rings, right? As well. Again, thousands of years to come back. Now, watching the way the elves make themselves believe that Sauron didn't trick them was infuriating. Yeah. But I mean, it's like watching a slow-moving train, right? Yeah. You know what's going to happen, and this is how it happens. And I think that the elves are very prideful in a way, and which sounds weird, but they are.
Well, no, that makes sense.
They think they're the greatest race, and I mean, I guess because they live forever. I mean, they're essentially immortal, unless something mortally kills them, but. Barring anything like that, and they're always healthy, so it has to be something lost in battle or some terrible accident, of course, which is a weird choice of Tolkien's in a way, but that's the universe and how it's working. And then I agree with you with Elrond trying to make them doubt this and getting nowhere. So that tells you that whatever Sauron does is makes these things very addictive. Yeah. Right. And that's really what I think. And then just so disappointed again. I agree that Círdan just fell under the spell, and then disappointed Elrond. And so the Elrond is so much younger, and I think that he was really looking to Círdan for wisdom. So again, their arrogance is infuriating. Watching the slow moving train is it's just like watching Andor, right? Yeah. You know that this is going to be bad, right? So because you know how it ends, right? So but it still doesn't make me stop shouting at the TV, right? We're shouting, going, "What the hell are you doing?" Yeah. We're both doing that, right?
Normally it's just me.
But the interesting thing is that I also felt sorry for what's his name?
Where are you looking?
Adar.
Oh,
I wrote Agar down.
That's not
Adar.
right.
I actually felt sorry for him in a way because he really suffered a lot, and I think. I don't see him as being pure evil. I don't. I see him as really.
He just wants
really just wants a home, and he wants to help the people. And he's a little. I mean, he's a little. I guess a little corrupt in a way, but in a way, who can blame him in a way, right? Like I mean, he's a survivor, right? So, but he's not evil, not like Sauron is. So, and I really kind of. So that was sort of an interesting thing. And then, because of this slow-moving disaster, I really love seeing Poppy and Nori and the stranger. Yeah. And this sort of gives you a different plot where you don't really know what's going to happen, right? Yeah. Kind of like, so that's kind of like, because like we're just saying that the other stuff we know it's going to be bad, right? Mm-hmm. So this gives you something else to think about. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I also Yeah, and then if you thought that Halbrand, aka Sauron, is a little soft, when you see that thing where he does with the dog, and he's like nasty, right?
Yeah.
Like that guy. So you have no doubt, right? Yeah. Okay, so those are my thoughts on the first episode, which again was Elven Kings Under the Sky. Yeah. All right, so go ahead. Your number 2. So that is Where the Stars Are Strange is the name of episode 2.
Okay. So then again, Gil-galad and Galadriel keep wearing the rings, and even though they're clearly like weird, like they're clearly not acting normal.
And it's kind of weird because they're like, we know we're somehow being influenced by this, but we're gonna keep them on, right?
We start off with Galadriel like literally seeing like terrible stuff, and then she's like, well, and she knows it's because of the rings. She literally tells like Gil-galad, oh, it's because of the rings, I've been seeing stuff, and he's like, yeah, I've been seeing stuff too. If you're seeing things, you shouldn't be wearing them. That's kind of not normal. But anyway, so they're taking the
approach that it's heightening their elvish abilities.
Yeah, but I don't think you should be seeing things. Anyway, and then, but it is also weird because now at this point, like, Elrond is kind of indirectly trusting the rings because, like, he trusts Círdan but he's wearing a ring. Círdan is wearing a ring.
Yeah.
Like, but he doesn't seem to be that much changed compared to the other two.
I kind of felt though when he did that thing with the fish.
Yeah, the fish thing was weird.
That was a little weird.
That was a little weird.
Know.
So like, but it's weird that like Elrond does still like kind of more or less trust him, but he trusts him more than like the other two, which is a little bit odd.
Hoping that he'd have the wisdom.
Yeah, he probably is hoping that. Yeah, but anyway, I just noticed that, and yeah, the thing with the fish is like really weird. Anyway, but the rings are really creepy. Anyway, and also like another thing like. Just one thing that unifies all of these elves, they really want to be important. Like, they really want to be important. Like, I guess they live for so long, but, like, they really want to be important. Because, like, Celebrimbor, like, he trusts, like, Halbrand, or,
yeah, but that's...
Yeah, he trusts him, even though he literally...
That's how Sauron manipulates
he's
you,
not
right?
supposed to. But because, you know, like, and he was saying, like, all these things, like, you know, like, I've forged so many things over the years, but, like, this is gonna be my one crowning achievement, but you've already forged so many things.
Yeah, actually, I think of that. He's legendary already.
Yeah, he already has, like, he already is important. Like, he's, like, the top elven smith. But anyway, but these elves really, 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 really want to be important. And, yeah, and the one thing I was, like, kind of a little bit questioning, like, we know now that Adar is working against Sauron, but why did the orcs... It was the orcs who killed the elven messengers
because he was going to enslave them again. I mean, they were just enslaved by Morgoth.
Yeah.
And now they want to be on their own, and then Sauron is essentially wanting to enslave them again.
That's not what I was saying. I was saying the orcs, even though they're with Adar, killed the elven messengers who were on... It is Lindon. The elven messengers who were on their way to Lindon to war in Celebrimbor No, it's not Lindon. But anyways. Okay. Anyway, they killed the orcs killed the elven messengers.
Unless there's another name for it.
Why did the orcs kill the elven messengers if, like,
because they were going to tell him not to trust him.
Yeah, not to trust Sauron. But
and that's not what he wants. He wants him to be completely trusting him.
Why would Adar want Sauron, or why would Adar want Celebrimbor to trust Sauron? Why is that in his favor?
No, it was Sauron that killed them.
Wasn't it orcs that killed them?
No, it was Sauron.
Okay, never mind.
That's what I thought.
That.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I thought it was orcs.
But I didn't think it was the orcs. I thought it was Sauron himself who killed them.
Never mind. That was
the impression I was having.
Okay.
We're talking about the messengers that were supposed to go to warn Celebrimbor. That there was
Sauron. Hello.
Just don't.
Yeah, don't.
Just don't. That guy's Sauron. But that could have all been averted if Galadriel just told him that in the first place.
Maybe I might be thinking orcs because I think maybe the elves thought it was orcs or something. I'm not sure.
But
I don't remember. Someone killed them, and I thought it was orcs, but maybe
the reason I thought that is because when Sauron, aka Halbrand, left Adar, he said that he was going to go and go over to the elves, and I just assumed that he knew that they were going to send these messengers.
I have no idea.
And that he got rid of them because he knew that they were going to
Okay.
blow its cover, basically, right?
Okay. Well,
so that was I was thinking, but
okay. I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay, but I could see why
that would series is very complex, and I am.
Well, that's the interesting thing, right? Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that was sort of my impression.
Okay.
Okay. So it's my turn. Okay. Where the stars are strange. Okay. So again, we're now in the second episode. We're back with the dwarves in Moria. Of course, where the mines are. And originally, I thought that earthquake was originally because...
Wait, wasn't it Khazad-dûm?
Well, it's the same thing.
Oh, it's the same
Khazad-dûm? Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same.
Never mind.
It's Khazad-dûm is the city above the mines of Moria, so
okay.
later it just becomes Moria.
Oh my gosh.
That's why, anyways, so that's why I'm thinking that maybe Linden is... Anyways, I didn't check
I don't know. I just know Wikipedia said Linden.
Yeah, so it's probably the same place.
Okay.
Because there's an elvish name
to
it as well. Okay, so we're back with the dwarves, and I thought that the earthquake was caused by the mithril mining and making things...
No, it's caused by, like...
Mount Doom, yeah. I did not make that connection.
Yeah.
So, or the mithril mining, or because of the Balrog down there, but it really was the eruption of Mount Doom. So that that did not come to my mind, which makes sense, right? In light of the inability of the stone singers to find the light, so it has something difficult to deal with. So now we see a motivation that the dwarves have to stay in line. Right, because now that we're going to get an offer here, but of course, and this is what I do like Elrond, Durin Jr. All right, Durin the Third.
No, Durin the Fourth.
Durin the Fourth is not buying this ring thing, and I really like that. Then we can also see that. Círdan, in a way, is also manipulating Elrond. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
To guide us.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's he going to do? Because they don't listen to him.
They don't listen to him.
So that was kind of the thing. So Círdan is manipulating Elrond as well. Again, the elves are seeing all these terrible things, but again, they're not believing that they're being duped.
Yeah.
I did love the scene, and I know other people might not like this, but I really love the scene when Elrond, still clear-eyed, tells Galadriel that she's being played and that he knows that Sauron has her. And this blends well with the Lord of the Rings movies as well. Where she resists, and in the end, it's her pride. She resists her pride to not touch the One Ring when Frodo brings it. So that sort of releases her in a way. So she acknowledges over the thousands of years that in between these things that she was taken. I didn't realize that Galadriel's vision was the death of Celebrimbor. I didn't realize that. And
no.
I didn't get that. Did you get that?
Yeah.
That was
because she was like literally stabbed by vines.
I don't know why I didn't see that. So I didn't get that.
Yeah.
And again, Sauron is proving his patience as Halbrand at Celebrimbor's gates. And then I actually wrote down ruthlessly killed the messenger elves. So I really thought that's what happened.
Okay.
Now he's going to start masquerading as Anatar, and that really just plays right into he figured out what because it basically, if he gets messages from the gods from the Valar, then he thinks that he's completely gifted, right? Yeah. So hook, line, and sinker. And then of course we get a little bit more about that with Poppy and Nori and the stranger. And I actually started thinking that the dark wizard might be Saruman, but I think that's probably way too early. Yeah. But really, Saruman was the white, so he should be older than Gandalf, because Gandalf was the gray, right? So
is that how it works?
Yeah, and then remember when Gandalf came back, he was the white after he got himself back together after killing the Balrog. He was the white.
Okay.
So I think there's something about that.
I don't know.
But I assume that's Saruman was around longer, but maybe that...
No, but Saruman was originally like a good guy.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking it can't be him. So it's probably just completely another Istar. Or Istar? Anyways. Yeah. Okay, so that was my thing on the second. So you go ahead with the third.
Okay, third. Okay, so the eagle and the sceptre.
Yes, right? Eagle and the sceptre.
I think I like the fact that they used like Barrack, Isildur's horse, as a character. Like we followed him through. Like it was just interesting. It was nice. I mean, that kind of brings to mind not really that connected, but yeah. So that I just thought that was interesting. And it's nice that he's like really like loyal and stuff. And I thought it was a nice touch that like even though like when they were in the cage with all the spiders, Isildur told him like, "Hey, go, get out of here." But he did go, but he stayed at the front of the cave and waited for Isildur, and I thought that was like really nice, really sweet. So then Prince Durin the Fourth and Elrond, they both don't trust those rings, and they both don't trust Anantar now. Well, I guess Elrond doesn't know about Anantar, but Durin doesn't trust Anantar because and he said Elrond would never say anything nice about me.
So there's a little bit of levity. I got it.
I like that. That was really good. I
didn't include that in my notes, but
I like that. I thought it was funny. Like it kind of just really speaks like the friendship that they have because like if you like most like good friendships like you don't say nice things.
There's a little bit of back and forth, right?
Yeah, but so. I thought it was nice. And yeah, like, we haven't seen any like interaction between Elrond and Durin this season, which is
not
a
yet.
Little bit missed that from last season.
Not yet.
Anyway.
I'm sure we'll get it still though.
And back in Numenor, Iarian, the Isildur's sister, she's still being so like sneaky and like dishonest and dislikable and like. She said when she like revealed like the elf stone in the whole like coronation thing like at the end that she was like doing all this for like Isildur. She's not really. She's being really selfish. She's just doing it for herself, and I just did not really like that. And that's in contrast like to like Isildur, her brother, because he always like sees the good in everyone. He's like trying to help like he helps like people he sees along the way, like even though he's like, you know, and I mean he almost gets like ambushed and killed because of it, but like he like always helps people and it's just and sees the good in people, and it's just like really like interesting like that contrast between those two.
Yeah.
And I also and the camera angle over the coronation like palace scene at the end, like I really
the way they did that whole thing,
they
like
over,
like there was like a with the eagle,
with the eagle,
like there was like a drone or something.
Yeah, and I was like I have no idea how they did that. I mean,
a Middle Earth drone shot.
It was that was I really thought that was a very interesting angle. And.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was, So, again, it's, like, stunning. It's expensive, but it looks expensive.
Yeah, so there we go. I mean, I think everyone knows it's beautiful.
It looks very nice.
All right, so then me?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, I also said I loved how Barrack became a character, right? That was great. Mm-hmm. I just thought that was really unusual. Yeah. That was really unusual. A non-speaking character, but totally a character. And you got the whole backstory that this horse does not let anyone else, even Isildur's dad, cannot. So, actual character going to save Isildur. Good to see Arondir's return. You know, but he's still brooding, even though, of course, he's lost Brownin. Brownin? The healer. I wish I could speak all these names. But it's really interesting to learn a little bit more about his origins. All right, so that his kingdom was the kingdom he's from was like underwater. Yeah. And really, really hate Isildur's sister and Aaron. I don't know. Again, it's incredible the scheming that's going on there by her and Pharazôn.
I understand. Like,
it's just icky.
She's taking advantage of the situation that she's in, but also and
it just really bugs me. Yeah. Like they're just so. They weren't at the battle. They didn't sacrifice anything, and yet they feel like they can speak for everyone who actually lost their lives there. And I just think that. And it takes if I would imagine if I had a brother who did that, I would, because it almost taints the memory of the person that you're supposedly Anyways,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Anyway.
I just like, no. Right? So, anyways, and then it's so surprising in a way that she's so anti-elf, given how loyal her father, Elendil, is, and Isildur is to fight the traditional ways or the believers. And then I thought that was really weird that, like, when Pharazôn was speaking to Muriel about how great it would be if the eagle came to your coronation, and then the eagle shows up and then
he's like, oh, it's my eagle.
It's my eagle. Like, I was just like, I almost, like, if I didn't think that the eagles were as noble as they were, I would almost think that was arranged. Like, that was just...
No, but the eagles wouldn't do that.
Oh my God. I thought that was, somehow being manipulated. But anyways... and my favorite parts, I didn't talk about all my favorite parts, but I thought here my favorite parts were the interactions, like just the acting between the actors that were playing Theo, Arundel, Istrid, and Isildur when they're in Peligir, aka Gondor. Where Isildur is going to be the king of Gondor, of course. Anyways, great acting, I that was sort of my highlight there. And like and here I was like thinking about how great all the stuff is that's happening, and somehow when we're watching it, it feels like it's a very slow pace, but it's totally not. Like if you reflect back on everything that's happening, it's definitely not. It's definitely not a slow pace. I just think that the way it's done, it just is so pleasing.
I think because it lingers for a while, like until like the scene. But
I guess the thing is, like, sometimes I think the most important parts almost go by too quickly. Right? You're just like, wait a minute, what just happened there?
Wait, where did all the doors come from?
Right? So it's like it's kind of a weird dichotomy that I was thinking about here. Anyways, okay, so fourth episode, which is called Eldest.
Yes. Yeah, so again, Elrond is now doing exactly the opposite of what the ring says, or like what Galadriel says the ring says. He's playing. He's doing opposite. Anything that she says, hey, we should probably do this. Like, he does the exact opposite. Which is interesting because, like, I do feel like even though she is, like, being influenced by the ring, and, like, we see that she's, like, relying a lot on the ring, technically Elrond doesn't entirely know that she is, like, relying that much on the ring. It could just be, like, her intuition is, like...
Yeah, because she's more battle ready.
Yeah.
He's the politician.
That's the thing. So, like, I mean, we know that she is relying on the ring, but, like, he doesn't really know that. And honestly, he doesn't really know if she's relying on the ring.
That's kind of the weird thing, because you don't know how much is the ring and how much is really her. And that's kind of a weird thing, because, you know, if we were just thinking about, what's going on in what was I was going to say Nuremberg. It's not Nuremberg. Numenor. I mean, all that must be, like, is also Sauron's, like, tentacles doing manipulating, because all this evil stuff is happening, and it's all him. Anyway,
and then I really like Tom Bombadil, and I was gonna say Tom Bombadil, is he wearing white? No, he's wearing like gray or blue or something, but he's like the oldest one. So I feel like
Tom's been around since before the acorn.
I really like Tom
before
Bombadil.
The first raindrops.
He's so funny, but like
he's awesome.
I can see how, and we're kind of in agreement. Like the stranger is Gandalf. Right, I'm guessing. I'm 90% sure the stranger's Gandalf.
Yes, it could be, because apparently in the lore there was like 2 blue elves, but two blue wizards. But they're not allowed to use that material. So, and they're only going.
Oh yeah, Tom is he wearing blue? Is that blue or is that gray? It's like
I don't know. Anyways, but they can't use the material in those books. So I'm thinking it's got to be. It's really got to be Gandalf.
Yeah. Anyway, so. I kind of see how Gandalf kind of eventually he gives me like really similar like model to Tom Bombadil, like he's a kind of like he's like that like kind of like mysterious and wise, but like also like especially we see with like the hobbits, like he seems like pretty approachable and friendly.
Yeah, a little bit wild, having some fun.
Yeah, he can get like very serious and he's very powerful, and I just feel like a lot of that is kind of modeled after Tom, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, and cool. I don't know. That's kind of just thinking about that, and then also. What the heck are the Gaudrim? Like the weird like humans chasing after like Nori and Poppy and the stranger like in the desert with the masks. Like what are they?
Yeah,
we don't know what they are. And,
I have a feeling we're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out, but I don't know what the heck they are.
Something about if I take off my mask, you'll see what will happen.
They scare me, and I don't like them. I don't know what they are.
I have a feeling they're formless underneath.
Probably, I have no idea. And then also, like, at the end, when, like, I liked that really cool epic fight scene with Galadriel, like, going, like, all, like...
Yeah.
I like that.
We needed a bit more of that this season. We didn't have any of that yet.
It was interesting that, like, even, like, when she does that, she takes off the ring, and she's, like, gives it to Elrond, and, like, is like, here, take that. Elrond tells, like, the rest of the party, like, she didn't do that to protect us, she did it to protect the ring, and, like, that was, like, a really, like... Because kind of he is a little bit right. Like, I hate to admit it, but I do think he is kind of a little bit right.
Yeah.
Like, he is, like, still, like, really, really very high level of, like, skepticism of everything she does. Mm-hmm. But, like, he is kind of right.
Yeah.
Like, she did, I mean, yeah, she took off the ring, but also... Well, yeah, and then also that shows she can take off the ring, which is interesting.
And did she name it yet?
Yes.
Did she? Yeah,
yes, she did.
She even names it.
She names it.
She names it. I mean, I don't know. Well, I guess all three of the Elven rings have names, so I don't know if they were named from the beginning.
I don't know, but that's the first time
because they used to name those artifacts that were made by the elves, but. I don't know. She can't. Anyways, just I just
thought it was an interesting.
It comes back to that whole thing with Gollum and my precious, in a way, you know. So, anyways, okay. So then me, eldest. I'm not quite sure why it's called eldest.
Tom Bombadil is the
eldest. I'm like, why is it called
Tom?
Yeah, there you go. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, I did write Tom Bombadil? Question mark. Yeah. So yeah. All right. I'm not completely, out. I think this is my favorite episode so far out of the first four.
Yeah, I don't really have a favorite. Because
why? Because there's Tom and the ants. The ants. Oh my god. I love ants.
Sorry, what was happening with Goldberry? What was happening with her?
Goldberry? Which one's that?
Tom's wife or whatever.
I don't know.
Cause she was there, but then she also wasn't.
That's what you're referring to because he was like,
there's someone else. There's someone else here.
Someone else. Who else is going to be here? I don't know. I think maybe they're doing. I don't know.
Anyway,
but I wasn't even thinking about that. That it would be okay.
That was the.
Okay. Then also the other thing I liked about this, aside from Tom and the ants, of course, because I just said I'm good. The tensions between Elrond and Galadriel are great, and I said the same thing even at the end when he said when the other elves were like, "Oh, she's giving her life for us," and he's like, no, he's just doing that for the ring." I really like that, and I like that whole interaction between Adar and Galadriel because they're actually on the same side.
Yeah.
So they really are, and which is weird. Which is a really weird interaction. Okay, also the reunification of the two sides of the hobbits, right? So the Stewards and the Harfoots.
Harfoots.
So and then that interaction between Estrid and Arondir and Isildur, I just love that. And she could have she could have left. She could have left.
I actually think she was going to leave for a second.
Because if she's really as wild as they say, she didn't leave.
I think she's going to come back. I
don't know. We'll see. But it's an interesting character. See, this is the nice thing about the fact that they didn't go back to all the source material because there's actually new stuff set in that universe, and I'm really I love that. Right, so it's good. I did suspect that the ants took Theo. I did suspect that.
I didn't know what was
because just the way he was lifted up, and I was like, it's got to be ants. I don't know why I was thinking ants. I
was thinking it was the spiders, but
no, I was because he literally was looking up. I was like, it's got to be ants, and they're in the forest. It's got to be ants. And I love ants so much. That was really what I had to say up until now. I just wanted because I guess we're going to review the other four episodes. Yeah. We didn't say what we're doing. We're not really binging it, but we kind of are. We kind of are. Yeah. This one's on break.
And it's only a few days.
It's only a few days, and we got 8 episodes. So we're trying 2 or 3 episodes a day, which is a lot because I'm working.
So everything blends a little bit together. So I might have said that was in another episode.
No, I don't think you did. I think you're doing pretty good. So we're going to finish watching the last 4 episodes and do another podcast. Yep. And I really and we were talking about this morning. We don't really know where people are saying that you don't get hooked in this because we're loving this.
Yeah,
there's a lot to love. I don't know. So, and to me, it's not like it's not slow moving because there's lots of things going on. Like it's just kind of like a.
At least once per episode, I'm like completely terrified. Like, what the heck is that?
Yeah. So that's kind of. Yeah, so and again, we're not trying to review it. We're just again trying to just share what we enjoyed about it. But that was the one thing because if you look online, people are like, "Oh, it's boring," and I'm like, "Boring?
Yeah.
What is boring about this?" We definitely, I think we agree.
Yeah,
not
just
not
looking
boring.
at it from like probably also because like we're looking at kind of like from like completely separate from like it's something completely else. It's not.
Yeah, but still, even if you were a Lord of the Rings purist. It still wouldn't be boring. Like I don't know. So we don't think that. We definitely don't think that. We definitely think this is definitely worth a watch if you haven't watched it yet.
It's painful to watch, but
just like I was saying, just like watching Andor, it's painful to watch.
You know bad things are gonna happen. And
there's no good ending to this.
Stop doing that. Stop listening to this guy. Like, just don't listen to those rings. Don't go in that dark creepy forest.
But like again, like I was saying, that's why it's nice to have the other parts of the story that are sort of modeled after the universe that we don't really know how we're going to go. And that sort of makes it even more enjoyable in my mind. And again, it looks so much like the Peter Jackson stuff, and I think they succeeded there.
Which really makes you think about, like, when were those movies released? Like, 2000, like, early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
And, like, considering the fact that this looks, like, pretty similar to that, like, that's, like, crazy how, like, the cinematography of those movies.
Awesome job. And then we, while we were doing this, we found out there's going to be a new Lord of the Rings movie for sure, right? The Search for Gollum?
Hunt for Gollum.
So
it's titled right now.
And we just saw the little drop that Ian McClellan sort of said there might be another one. This is, I'm loving this, right? I know we do lots of Doctor Who and we starting into our Star Wars, but Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I should pull that out. I got a huge book of the Lord of the Rings. So I got the illustrated Lord of the Rings. It's like huge, but it's on a lower shelf. Anyhow, is it?
Yeah,
it's right there.
Right here.
Can you?
Right. This blue one.
There it is.
One.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't want to break that out again just because I'm just nostalgic for doing that.
I've got that big like hardcover copy of The Hobbit.
Yes. Yeah. And I think in one of our other podcasts I mentioned I got the illustrated Hobbit, sort of like a.
And I've got a little unofficial book nook of like Gandalf and stuff.
Yeah. So we're we're loving it. Nice. We're loving it. Mm-hmm. So I guess so we'll end the podcast here. And please again, if you want to see us on our YouTube location, you can find us on Birds on Powerlines podcast. And you can see us there and some of the stuff that we were just talking about on my shelf here. But other than that, we're glad you're listening. And we want to thank you again for being part of the Birds on Powerlines podcast.